Today's episode is sponsored by newamsterdam.com.
Imagine a world where creatives always have a key to the city.
Use promo code 3PLAY and get 3 signature notebook ones for only $20.
That's THREEPLAY.
This and more are available exclusively at knewamsterdam.com.
Newamsterdam.com. Welcome, citizen. So, hi, Jordan.
Oh, I didn't know you hit the button. Hello.
Oh, I hit it a while ago.
Oh, oops. Hi.
And you don't even have gin in your drink.
Mm-mm.
We
Just ice.
are drinking out of amazing mugs.
I know. I sent a picture on Snapchat to Sarah and Lindsay. And Sarah
Nice.
replied, she's like, ha 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 ha, nice.
We have to do one for, not Snapchat, the other one, Instagram.
Instagram.
Twitter. So, welcome to Crime Crazy, the weekly true crime podcast with Erin Plein,
And Jordan Middleton.
where we prove
That we know nothing about our legal system.
but we're still crazy for a good true crime story.
So I kind of like lightly under my breath said, oh yeah, when you started talking,
I know.
you should leave that there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I will.
Oh, that was funny.
So, and I almost changed one of the lines about when you said know nothing about our legal system, because mine takes place in another country, and it turns out I know nothing about their legal system either.
We know nothing about anybody's
Any
legal
system. I'm not even entirely confident about the one in my own house.
Well, yeah.
For example, anyone want to tweet at us and let me know what to do with a 2-year-old who's constantly climbing into her big brother's bunk bed?
Grease.
And then
So she slips.
anyone other than Jordan want to chime in?
I'm a great nanny.
I do pay this woman to watch my children.
I did threaten them I was going to throw them in the trash can. And
did, and it was
and I said-
garbage
yeah,
day.
I said, so you're going to go to the dump.
And Tobin's probably like, okay, so either do I want to do this or do I want to get Sophie to do it?
Yeah, and he said, yeah, he was trying to make sure Sophie understood.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, but our parents love us and they would miss us. And she's like, oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's the issue with that. Also, it's not garbage day, so they weren't ever in real danger.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'd rather it being garbage day than to sit in the trash can for another 6 days.
It's true. It was the day after garbage day.
Yes.
I just like the part where Tobin was like, Gagu's going to start slapping. Oh, you've ever slapped them.
I know. That was like towards the beginning of the week. He
Yeah.
just out of nowhere, I was like, do you know what happens when I get mad? Like, you guys you can't do this. You have to nap, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, or Gagu will start slapping. I'm like, whoa. First off, I said, maybe we'd start with a light timeout. Like,
A stern talking
I know.
to.
And he was just like, yeah, he's just slap her in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so Tobin's not allowed to watch the baby anymore.
I know. And then he's so cute about it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything exciting going on in your world? Like anything crime related or not, or
Definitely not crime related. Thank the Lord.
I'm trying to think if there's anything crime
we
related
have
going on.
Well, I say we, but you are hosting something kind of crime related.
yes.
If you wanted to talk about it, I mean,
So, I subscribe to,
I think we've talked about it on here already.
I think we probably
name.
have. And for a second, I had to think about what the name was because we've been talking about our sponsor this whole time.
Oh, right.
Like doing our ad, which you'll get to hear again in just a minute. Don't worry. And I was like, it's not called New Amsterdam. That's something else.
Yeah.
No, Hunt a Killer.
Yeah.
Right. And actually they, well, they have a podcast too, but ours is better. I've never listened to theirs, but ours is better. But anyway, I really like their stuff. It's very exciting to get in the mail. I've got the whole, like the episode that I was on, I've got all 8 boxes.
Yep.
They're all like taken apart and looked through and filed. And I have not solved the mystery.
We can work on that with all of us and all of the things.
Yeah. Well, except that I bought that premium box, and it might take a really long time for us to solve.
Oh, that's true. Then we should just do the one box.
We're having a murder party on Saturday night. And so it's going to be like 5 or 6 of us. And we are going to put everything out on a big table. And we're going to sit around and we're going to go through all the clues. And we're going to solve a mystery.
I need to dress up like Sherlock.
Oh my God. We should totally dress up like famous detectives.
Oh my gosh. Can I be the Great Mouse Detective?
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm so excited.
I'm texting Mike right now.
Okay. So anyway, that is what we're doing Saturday night that is kind of crime related, is we're going to solve a fake crime. And it's going to be so great. And I am so excited. And we've been planning this for months.
I'm very excited. I am more excited now because I could dress up like the Great Mouse Detective.
Are you going to wear mouse ears?
That was my favorite movie.
Are you going to wear a tail?
Ew.
Well, presumably
so
he has
I actually
a tail.
don't like mice. But the Great Mouse Detective was great.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny. Watching Erin pour the gin in her mug skillfully.
I did a good job with my left hand.
Ooh,
the problem is I can't see in the bottom of the mug, so I have no idea how much gin is in there.
So that was about a 1 count.
I have not had anything to drink at all in so long, like months.
Yeah, I know.
So... Sorry, well, I mean, not just during podcasting, but like
in general.
All. Yeah. So, we'll see how the rest of this show goes.
They'll just talk fast.
Right. Also, if I was ridiculous on any recent episodes, now you know it's just me. Okay, so I have a story and also a plug.
Ooh.
So well, here, I'll give you the background for how I got this story. Apparently all my stories have a pre-story that we have to tell. Well, here's how I came up with this idea. No. So, Brian Williams and I do Shortlisted.
Yes.
And our season starts again. We are recording our first episode on Monday.
Oh.
So we've been on a break as well. And so this time he got super organized and amazing. I mean, he's just amazing.
Yeah,
anyway,
he really is.
And he sent me a schedule with every recording date, every release date, and every topic with a link. And then which one of us was responsible for researching that week.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. It's like this whole, it's so great.
Oh, how beautiful. That is like, oh.
Right?
Like, I
it was
love that.
so organized.
See, it's like people who buy planners to like act like they're going to get their life together.
That's
Brian
me.
is someone who got the life together.
He did. I was super, super impressed.
Wow.
So anyway, his first list, so I'm reading it, and I won't give it away what it is because this episode will come out before that one does. But I'm reading it, and one of the items on the list, which was not crime related, this one item was a crime, or it had the story of a crime in it.
Oh.
And I was like, how have I never heard this crime? Like, I recognize the name of the criminal, but I don't know anything about it. And so I did some more research, and I was like, oh, this is my story for this week. So my plug is for Shortlisted, which is part of Tin Pod Universe.
That is not even a plug. That's Brian.
I know.
So it's like a friend. So
I know.
It's like, it's okay.
But I have the story for you.
I am so excited.
So, and I can't show you my notebook because I'm doing it like a bullet journal. And so I've been decorating all the pages. So like last week when I told the story of the police chase, like there's a picture of the police chase.
Aww.
So I can't show you the pages I'm about to read from because they're illustrated.
Aw, you have to show me at the end.
Oh yeah, well. This one's not particularly great because I could not draw the thing on this page. But
now I'm very excited.
The second story I love, but you'll understand why when I tell you that one. Okay. Anyway, here we go.
I'm ready.
So, Michael Fagan. Have you heard that name?
I don't know.
Doesn't it sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
It does, right?
Keep talking.
Okay. He was born August 8th, 1948 in London. His father was kind of an interesting character. He was a steel erector and also, and this was in quotes, so I'm guessing like self-proclaimed, champion safe breaker. So he's a real great dude. Also, according to Michael Fagan, he was violent.
Oh.
And that is why when Michael turned 18, he left home to get away from him.
Proud of you, Michael.
At 24, so in 1972, he married Christine, and he had 4 kids with her.
Okay.
Oh, his birth family, it doesn't really play into any of this, but he was one of 3. He had 2 sisters that I think they were either both older or both younger. Like, he wasn't the middle child, but I can't remember at the moment which one. Apparently doesn't make any difference. Anyway, about 10 years later, he's like 33, 34-ish. His wife leaves. He's unemployed. He's having a really horrible time. Oh, and one more just random fun fact. He's absolutely obsessed with Queen Elizabeth. His
Who
mom,
isn't?
well, right, but his mom is like, yeah, I can just, picture him wanting to sit down and have a conversation with her and not thinking that that was a weird thing to do. So, yeah, absolute obsession.
Okay.
So, June-ish of 1982. He's
The
in this
summer of 1982.
the summer of 1982. So 1982. He's in a dark, dark place. Okay. In the world, because he still, of course, lives in London. And has a Queen Elizabeth obsession. So Princess Diana still around.
Yeah.
She has just recently given birth to William.
Yeah.
Who is almost exactly a month younger than me, by the way. And he being Fagin, not William, because William is like less than a month old. Fagin decides that he needs to pay a visit to his queen. But you can't just be like, hey, can we set up a breakfast date, right? So he's got to go
do
about
brunch.
this. Yeah, nope, not a thing. He has to go about this a little differently. Now, this part of the story that I'm about to tell you is no one can corroborate it.
Oh.
There are little bits and pieces that can be corroborated, but all of the detail we have is from Michael Fagan, like telling what happened in an interview.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he climbs over the fence of Buckingham Palace, and he
Where are all those guards?
Oh, just wait.
Oh, okay.
He climbs a drain pipe.
Shimmy.
There is yes.
Shimmy up the drain pipe.
I'm
Sorry. That's just what I always think of.
He enters through, there's a housemaid and her window is open. And so he goes in through her window. Well, she sees him and she screams and she runs off to get some of those guards.
Yeah.
But of course, by the time they get back, he's not there and she's not on the first floor. So they go back and he's not there because it wasn't a first floor. So it's not like it's expected that there would be someone there. And so what they decide is that the maid was mistaken and there was never anybody there to begin with, because how could anyone be there? She's a second story or higher window. How would he have gotten there? Right. And she must have,
Imagine the
seen
whole thing.
something. Right. I guess.
Crazy lady.
Right. So he then wanders around Buckingham Palace.
Just blending in.
I guess there are a lot of people, and so he can do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I always imagine it like a lot of empty halls and like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, just,
well, and how was he
dressed?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to say. Was he dressed in such a way that he blended in with, like, I would imagine there's a uniform for everybody who works there, and anybody who doesn't work there would
he just grabbed one on his way around and he just kind of put a jacket on.
Well, I don't think he did, and here's why.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So he's wandering around. He manages to find some cheese and crackers. So he's just snacking as he goes.
Oh my God.
He manages to find wine, which he drinks.
Oh my God.
In one version of the story that I was reading, he said it was just real cheap American wine, like California wine. It wasn't anything great, but he really enjoyed it with his cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
He got into like a throne room, and he said he sat on all the thrones. He felt like Goldilocks, like moving from one to the other. He sat on one. He was like, this isn't very comfortable, but there was another one right next to me. So I moved on over. He did actually trip some alarms as he was going through the palace. Even though this was, the 80s, like, you can't just walk into all these rooms. And but police assumed that they had to be false alarms or like tripped by staff or something like that. So they just silenced them. Right?
I wish I was him. They're having like a whole day around the palace and everyone's just like, no, you're crazy. Oh, that's a fake alarm. Like, okay.
There was no good communication.
What is the
going
protocol?
on. Like, apparently none.
None. Not even an eyewitness. No. That's just the ghost.
He gets into like the part. I don't know what the map or the layout of Buckingham Palace is.
I've never been there.
Not really. I've seen it from the outside, but so I don't really know. But he gets to this one part and there are all of these doors. He said they were all labeled with people's names. And so like, this is Charles and this is Diana and this is William. And he went into Diana's room, the one that was marked Diana, and he found a bunch of presents that she had bought for William, even though he was just born. So like, I don't know if she was like storing them up for later birthdays or whatever else, or maybe he said they were presents that she'd bought from him, but maybe they were like gifts that hadn't been opened. I don't know. Yeah. He said he really, really had to pee, but with all of these labeled doors, he could not find one labeled water closet. He did, however, go into a room which was apparently just full of bins labeled corgi food. So he peed in the corgi food.
Ew.
I know, right?
Oh, poor corgis.
Eventually.
Oh, that's why you said. Oh, that's funny. There's corgis in this one.
Yeah, yesterday I was telling you there were corgis in my story. He eventually got tired and he left.
Okay. He just got to leave.
He just left. He just came in, had cheese and crackers and wine, tripped a bunch of alarms, freaked out a maid, peed in the corgi food,
sat in a bunch of thrones,
and then went home. No big deal.
Okay.
So, July 9th, so a little less than a month later-ish, 1982 still, at 7 a.m., he decides that his goals and his needs were not met the last time he was at the palace. He didn't get to see his hero. Oh. All he got to do was pee in the corgi food.
Yeah.
And have some cheap wine.
What else is there in life?
Right? So he scales the fence, which all of the descriptions of this fence that I'm reading, it's a pretty like intimidating.
Oh.
There we go. Fence. And he apparently had no issues. Just scaled the fence. Climbed a drain pipe again onto the roof.
Well,
Left his shoes on the roof for some reason. And got in. There was some door up on the roof that was open, and he managed to get back in. He found the apartments where all the royalty lived, and wandered into Queen Elizabeth's bedroom. So the queen is asleep. It's like between 7 and 8 in the morning, and so she's asleep. And
she always struck me as an early riser.
Well, I don't know. Maybe July 9th was a Saturday. I'm not really sure. But apparently she was asleep. The guard that was outside of her room that should have prevented him, because he didn't come in.
Was also asleep.
I was also asleep. Sort of. So because he didn't come in through her window, right, he had to come in from the hallway. So there would have been an armed guard standing outside of her room, except his shift was over and the next guy hadn't arrived, but he left anyway. And so there was no one there.
How does this guy have the best luck with the worst ideas?
Also, as he was getting to the queen's room, he managed to trip more alarms. And again, the police were like, well, that has to be a false alarm. And they just shut them off.
I cannot.
So he pulls back the curtain around her bed, around Queen Elizabeth's bed.
Oh, she probably has like a fancy canopy bed.
She almost definitely does.
Yeah, apparently so.
And she woke up.
I would have too.
Immediately. Originally.
Any ounce of light that comes in, right. I would have been like, what do you want?
Originally, he told people that he like sat on her bed and watched her sleep, and then eventually she woke up and saw him there. But then later he admitted that actually like he pulled open the curtain and she woke up, like she was wide awake.
Well, good, because that makes you sound less creepy and like a killer.
Sort of.
Well, I'm trying here.
She screamed and she ran past him to go get help. And then this is where it was very confusing, because it definitely said in a couple of places that that she left immediately. Like, she got up and left the bed, right? And he even said, like, she stood up and this is what she was wearing, and she said, "What are you doing here?" And her voice was like 1,000 breaking goblets or something. I don't know. But apparently somewhere in that immediately waking up, jumping out of bed and running for help, she did try to call the switchboard twice to get somebody sent to her room to help her.
Yeah.
And no one ever showed. So,
oh my God.
So she runs away.
I would have been like, I'm the fucking queen and no one's helping me. I would have fired everybody that day.
Everybody.
Oh,
yes. So Paul Wybrew is a footman who was in charge of walking the corgis, who had been feeling under the... No, I don't know if they'd been feeling under the weather, but I feel like they should have been.
Yes.
And he happened to come by around that time before the police got there, after the queen left, but before the police came. And... those stories differ a little bit too, but according to Fagin, who thought it was hilarious that his last name was Wybrew, Wybrew looked at him and said, "You look like a man who could use a drink," and then gave him a glass of whiskey from like the private reserves of the royal family. And so he had whiskey while he waited for the police to arrive.
Why is this like a dream sequence?
Right? It's
like,
very funny.
It's not real. This is...
So the police come and they arrest him.
And they probably just walked him out and drank with him. It was like, that was fun.
That was great. Oh. Well, no, here, his luck doesn't even run out as he's being arrested.
Oh my God.
Because it turns out in 1982... until all the way up to 2005, this wasn't changed. There were no, like, it was not a criminal act to break into Buckingham Palace and sit on the Queen's bed.
Breaking and entering?
No, apparently that was a civil crime. So they do charge him with a civil crime, but it's just like not that big a deal. The only criminal crime that they charge him, and this is where like I don't know very much about their legal system, but the only thing that they charged him with other than that was the theft of the wine, which I feel like they only could have known about if he told them, because this happened weeks earlier.
Yeah,
so that was weird. But
unless the maid was like, "That's the guy who came in 3 weeks ago."
Oh yeah, maybe.
And then they're like, "Oh, maybe that's why the wine was weird and the corgi's food was soft."
Right, and there were crumbs in the throne room.
Yeah.
So they do end up dropping the wine charges when the judge is like, "You know what? I think that dude might need a psych eval."
Yeah.
For 6 months they put him in a psych unit.
Oh.
And he hangs out there. At one point, apparently, one of the guards went up to the roof to figure out like how he got in or whatever, and found his shoes and brought him his shoes. You gotta return the shoes to the thief who broke in and peed in your corgi's food. Scared the queen. I'm trying to think. I didn't write down any other sort of details, but they also said that one of the issues that they had was that there wasn't a lot of good communication going on within the palace.
Oh, yeah, they were like, snooze.
Yes, they're shutting off the alarms. They don't, trust the maid, that there are too many ways that you can get in. It's not a criminal offense, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The head of security or chief of police or whoever is in charge of security for the palace actually offered his resignation to the queen, but she refused to accept it. Like, I guess in the end...
Yeah.
He wasn't actually, he was a threat because he was mentally ill and he broke into her home twice and had no respect for her property or privacy, but he really was having a crap time and he wanted to sit down and tell her about it and get her advice because he, and so he was just a crazy guy. So ultimately, in 2005, they finally made it a criminal offense to break into the palace to visit the queen.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. However, Michael Fagin's life did not continue on this like bizarre, harmless, lucky path. So here's some things that happened with him. In 1983, the most hilarious thing happened, which is that he teamed up with the Bollocks brothers.
Okay.
Or Bollock brothers, just one.
Just one brother.
Recorded a cover of God Save the Queen.
Oh my gosh.
And he actually has several like claims to fame, like that, little weird things, stories that have been done about him, that kind of thing.
Why does his name sound so familiar though?
I don't know. I guess just because it's got to be coming up in pop culture and different things. Like we must have just heard it. But 1984, he attacks a policeman, and he gets a 3-month suspended sentence. So he had really only been out for maybe a year by then, because he had his 6 months in the psych ward, and then that. 1987, so 3 years later, he's running through a park with no pants on, so he's cited for indecent exposure.
Oh my god.
And then 10 years later, in 1997, he and his wife, which I didn't see where he remarried, so I think that maybe he got back together with his wife, because he also has a 20-year-old son by that point, because the three of them were all arrested, and he at least was given 4 years in prison for conspiracy to supply heroin.
Oh gosh.
So his life went way downhill
Super
after.
changed.
Yep. So,
wow.
but I mean, I think at least in the beginning, he was like, I don't know, his story's almost sweet. Like it would be terrifying. And if somebody broke into my house and everything, but he was sort of a person that needed help, not a person who was threatening. And he just was loony. And
it's just like, you know who helped me? The Queen.
The Queen. She's always good.
She helps everybody.
Kind of well, and today we would look at that and go, oh, that's whatever super stalkery behavior. He has this obsession and this imagined relationship. Okay, if I was in Criminal Minds, this is what we would say.
Yes.
It's super dangerous. But ultimately, he was caught before he did any real harm.
Yeah.
And I think they probably could afford to lose a few pounds of corgi food, some cheap white wine, possibly a glass of whiskey, and some cheese and crackers.
Right? Oh my gosh.
So
that's still so crazy.
It's like, an insane story. I
blown
loved
away.
It. Right? And it was a totally harmless.
If you could break into any famous person's house and not get in trouble, who would you break into?
Am I going to assume that once I break in, they're going to be happy to see me? Because
the Queen was not happy.
Right. I don't want to upset anybody.
Okay. Maybe we'll say that they're just kind of like, why are you here? Like, not mad, but not happy.
That's a really hard question. I know I'm overthinking it, but I feel like it's a hard question, because if I choose somebody whose house I would like to go into, then I'm not starting a good relationship with that person.
So why don't we say that you just wanted to see their house and not necessarily them?
I wouldn't get caught.
Yeah. You just wanted to look around their house.
There was that, well, this is so expected, right? But, oh, well, wait, can I break into the Winchester house?
Ooh.
Because otherwise I was going to say.
Might not get out.
I was going to say our boy.
Oh, well, yeah. I know he has such a cool house.
He has a very cool house. I watched that episode.
I know. I could watch that episode.
Except for the teeth behind the fireplace. What the hell are you thinking?
That is so funny.
Dr. Spencer Reed, I do not approve.
It's so creepy. It's so him, though.
It is really him.
It is so him. That was funny.
It isn't Spencer Reed, though, and that's who I wish he was. Even though he's a lot of Spencer Reed, he's also not.
Yeah.
No, I might break into the Winchester house, so that would be very cool.
That would be cool. I'd be scared I'd get lost and not get out.
Yeah, that is 100% possible.
But can't you go on tours there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I want to do that. That's on my bucket list. Put it on there.
Well, when you come out to California with me on one of my work trips, we will be within an hour of the Winchester house and Azkaban prison, also known as Alcatraz. But in my head, like, it is Azkaban. It's like on a little island. It's totally Azkaban, except not British.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you know,
and no Dementors
that you know of.
True.
That would be so cool. I definitely want to do that.
We could do those things.
Definitely. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So here's my picture of...
I would have not guessed it off of that. That looks like
No,
the White House.
It does look like the White House, but it kind of looks like the White House. Like, I was looking at pictures, and it's not the White House, but it's...
Kind of the White House.
It actually looks a little bit to me like Versailles or something. I don't know.
Oh. Well, yeah.
But either way, that's my
Well, they're all copying each other, so it's...
super crappy drawing. Imagine a world where creatives always have a key to the city.
Use promo code 3PLAY and get 3 signature notebook ones for only $20.
That's THREEPLAY.
This and more are available exclusively at knewamsterdam.com.
NewAmsterdam.com. Welcome, citizen. Now that you're about to tell your story, I get to start in on my gin.
Yeah. Can't feel my toes.
Should we pause and let you, like, jump up and down?
Ow. No. Do you remember my Marco Polo about my big toe?
Yes. Jordan sends me. I'm having the hardest time right now, actually, because now that you've started working with my kids again, I always try to call you Gagu to them.
I know.
Even though they both call you Gagu and Jordan sort of interchangeably. But on the podcast, I'm like, every time I start to say Gagu, I'm like, no, that's weird, right? Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's weird. That's not what she... That's not how these people know her.
No, that's all right. I'm just... I don't know. Ow. I was trying to move my foot.
So Jordan,
yes,
Gagu,
that's me,
sends me a Marco Polo. And she, in the middle of it, she's like, oh, my big toe hurts from trying to take off my shoe. Like, the bone hurts. I still can't figure. Were you taking off your shoe while you were sending me the video?
Yes.
And so you were hurting yourself actively.
Yes.
Not like you had tried to do it earlier in some
right there in the moment
extreme situation.
Because you use the tip of your toe and the heel to take off one shoe, right?
Yeah.
But then the other toe is exposed and does not have the shoe power to take off the last shoe. So I try to
plan better.
I try to use my big toe as like a strengthening contest or something. So I tried doing it, and then all of a sudden, like, the knuckle of my toe started to hurt. So that was all happening in real time. That's why I was like, okay, I'll stop talking about it. So I had to use like the side of my foot.
Stop and use your hand.
Because my back hurts. So I'm not trying to like do that.
Oh, so there was a reason.
Oh yeah,
that you were willing to hurt your feet.
My big toe. My one toe.
I was so confused. We could get you one of those things that like old people have to help take their shoes off.
Don't even tempt me, because I almost got the sock putter on her.
Yeah.
And Mike was like, I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I was like, right.
He's like, I'm fine dating a much younger woman who acts like a much older woman.
He is so much younger than me, I swear. But like my toe like have to be in the right spot with the sock. Like at heart, like he's just so much
I was
going
to say he's my age.
No,
he's not younger than you.
He is so much younger than me though. Like really, I'm the old lady. He's going to be the young one forever.
Forever.
Here I go, down the hill.
But, you know, I think that's just the way it is because, A, you were born and grown up, so you're actually, like, going on 30 like years into your grown up.
Okay.
So, tell me your disjointed and crazy story.
It is crazy. And it's, like, very current. So, I feel like most people... I've heard of it, but I didn't know details. So I feel like maybe other people will feel the same way.
I hope I've heard of it.
I'm sure you have.
I don't know.
It was like last month.
Nothing about... What do you mean it was last month? I thought you said it was 2014.
Well, yeah, but it was like over time, and then it's like up until last month. So it was like back in the press.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, okay. This is about Marilyn Hartman, and she's 66 years old. And, you know... I love old criminals. And guys,
the closer I get to old, the less old that sounds.
We'll see. And this is why I said, guys, even if you're close to 66, you have to understand. You're never old.
Right.
You could, because this girl, her age is 66, but I tell you what, she's like a fucking ninja.
I'm so excited.
Like, it's okay. And age is just a number, so let's not be self-conscious and like every butterfly has a wing and whatever. Take life by the horn.
How many times have you watched Boss Baby?
What?
That's what he does when they're on the bike. He just starts spouting like motivational phrases. And the kid is like, what are you talking about?
That is me. I am Boss Baby. Which Baldwick brother is him? Because then that's going to change some things.
Not the good one? No, I don't know.
So, well, I like Alec.
I think that's who it is.
Good.
I think it is. That's who he sounds like.
Okay, good. I'll be him.
Okay.
All right, anywho.
Ooh,
so she's 66, and she is known as the serial stowaway. Have you like get it?
Yeah. Why?
And I literally said this, so I'm glad I had all the motivational speaking already for people who might be self-conscious about their age, because my next line I wrote was, "Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?" So practically her whole life was based around, like, she had a really shitty life. They said she struggled with homelessness. I hate when they make it sound like that, but like,
well, but I think it's not like I mean, it is sometimes a choice that people make, but I think often I
think that hers was just that she just had a bad deck of cards handed to her. So it was kind of like that. So in and out, but she also had some mental problem. So she was in and out of like mental facilities as well. So now here's the story that's going to be all corbobulated. So I hope everyone's ready.
I'm excited about the word corbobulated.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's not a word I'm familiar with.
Write it down.
Corbobulate. How do you spell that? With a key? Well, a key or a K?
A key.
Okay. A key or a say?
A key. Okay, so Marilyn has a pretty long history of this type of behavior because it started around, the earliest I could find was 2014. So that's pretty long considering stowaway is not like petty theft and little things. You're literally sneaking onto airplanes.
Oh, airplanes?
Yes.
Wow, how do you sneak onto an airplane?
That's why I'm saying, this is crazy how much she does this.
Have you seen Boss Baby at all?
One time when I was making them lunch.
Because they sneak onto an airplane.
Oh my God.
They dress up in a single Elvis suit.
Oh, yes.
And they get on the airplane, and then, because apparently there's no security whatsoever, and then once they're on the airplane, they sit in the first class lounge. And when they come and ask, what are you doing here? Nobody can afford to be up here. They're like, oh, we're the pilot's kids. And she's like, oh, I'll get you anything you want. They end up with a piñata.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I missed all that. I remember the Elvises, and I think I got to the point where they had a bunch of food.
Yeah.
But then that was it. Oh, that's funny. So, unlike Boss Baby, she didn't have that good of luck. But I literally put, her crazy ass was actually managed to get on different flights. So, she got on without current boarding passes. Sometimes she would use discarded ones and kind of get through checkpoints and stuff. And this is all way after 9/11.
Right. So, it's all digital. I don't even see.
I don't know how she does it. They're still trying to, learn how she did it, because she didn't do it just one or two times. She's done it several times.
I mean, unless you get through security, which I don't know how you get through security without. I know
one thing they said is that she would try to blend in with really big groups traveling together. So instead of going through the security line, they would have the pre-TSA checkpoints. And because Mike and I have done that through airports. We got randomly selected and we got to go right through the pre-check, and we got to go right through.
But didn't you still have to show your ticket to show that you were pre-checked?
Well, that's why I think if she finds a discarded ticket and just...
That was pre-checked. But don't you have to show your ID? That is the place where you have to have your ID out.
Well, she's gotten... Oh, we'll get there. She's gotten onto crazy places with less than an ID. So even if she used it sometimes, she never bought a ticket.
I don't understand it all.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So, she's crazy like that. So these are some of her attempts from 2014.
Like a fox.
So sometimes she was caught because, not everyone could just hide on a plane.
You can't even get a bottle of water
I know.
They threw away my hair stuff.
I know. They did that to my mom. It was like perfume or body spray or something like that. And she was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I was like, Mom, what? I was like, yeah, you can't do that. And the lady was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, you know. And my mom's like, well, can I spray myself? Like one more time.
Real quick.
So, yeah. I don't know how she does it. But, so 2014... I'm going to kind of start this. Finding a timeline for this lady was extremely difficult. So she was caught in San Francisco, trying to go, and all of these are this like the airport in San Francisco. Yeah, she was trying to. Oh, which you go there a lot.
Yes, I've been in that airport. I have been pulled over for like having my bags searched a bunch of times there. Yeah. Well, considering I've only been out there like 3 times. One time my suitcase was flagged as containing organic material, which was a notebook full of paper, which is technically organic material.
Oh, that's weird.
And my boss was recently flagged, I think either there or Minneapolis, one of them, for having a deck of playing cards. Yeah.
Weird.
I know. What?
Yeah. Well, she got caught at San Francisco.
Okay.
So she was trying to get on a flight. Yeah, she was trying to get on a flight to Hawaii. And when they caught her, they were like, what are you doing? And she told them, which I don't think this was true. She told them, well, I have cancer and I'm just trying to get somewhere warm.
Okay. And so then she didn't get in trouble, but she still couldn't go? Or?
Almost every single time she got a slap on the wrist. Almost every single time. So we'll get there too, because this is why it was so hard to get information on this. There was no like,
because there wasn't a criminal
when
record.
She did this, she got this, and this is what happened. When she like, it was so hard. So then moving forward, she ended up going to San Jose, California. It got on a plane and went to LA. So that's one that she did get there. But it took her like 3 or 4 attempts to actually like get on a plane and fly. So she tried a bunch of times. They were like, no, you need to leave. Like, you know.
She is super ballsy and super patient.
You have no idea. Wait until her like grand finale.
Oh my God.
Then around 2015, she flew from Minnesota to Florida. I don't know how she got to Minnesota. Because I can't find where she went from LA to Minnesota.
Where did she live? Did she live in California?
So, no. Her primary residence was like in, I want to say, it has to be right outside of Chicago. Because most of her stuff happens in Chicago.
Okay.
I remember the name, but I don't.
Hub, though.
Yeah.
So, it's possible that she could get there from somewhere else.
I just know a lot of it was in Illinois in general.
Okay.
So I know she lives somewhere close, and I forget the name. And I should have wrote it down. It's like Gray something.
Gray something. Are you sure? Because I'm currently crocheting with gray yarn.
Oh, that's just a coincidence.
Okay.
So she got to she got to Florida from Minnesota. Then she was jailed. She was finally put in jail in Chicago after too many attempts at both like major airports in Chicago. So I don't know what the other one is.
Other than O'Hare.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say it's an M.
I don't know.
Who am I to know? I don't live there.
I can look it up.
You should, because now I'm thinking it's an M.
All right.
Pause for dramatic effect so I could take a sip of my drink.
Chicago Airport.
It's just
Midway?
Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm good. So,
but yeah, that was just like a little sideline mentioned there.
So between the two of those airports, she had numerous attempts and police kept getting called and it's like a whole big deal.
Right.
So she was definitely
her.
flagged then. So then...
Yeah, how long before you end up on a no-fly list? Like,
right? So I'm going to tell you all of her flying attempts and stuff, and then I'll tell you about some charges and stuff like that later.
Okay.
So then fast forward to this year, January.
This year, 2017 or 18?
This year, 18.
Okay.
I know what year it is.
Well, okay. I thought it was 2015 yesterday, apparently.
Oh, yeah, you did. That was funny.
Yeah.
I think it was just because it was 14, 15.
Well, and I think that in my mind, I was like, I get paid on the 15th, not the 14th, but I'm writing the check on the 14th.
Yeah.
And then I just decided it was 2015.
Yep. Living in the past.
Way in the past.
So yes, this year, 2018.
Yes.
On January 14th, which is kind of funny because it was almost exactly a month ago. Marilyn decided to try her luck again at O'Hare.
Not very smart.
Oh, it was smart. So it took her 3 days, but she successfully boarded a plane and went to London.
She flew internationally without a ticket?
So I didn't even write all this down because I knew I'd remember it. But like the short
she
of
flew
it.
internationally
I
without
told you.
Did she have a passport?
So she got there with literally nothing. So the only way she got caught is because the flight attendants did a head count right before they started preparing for landing. And they were like, we have one more.
Oh my God.
We should.
How?
So
How?
she went in and she snuck in through the airport through, what is it called when you're not leaving the state? Like a flight?
Domestic?
Domestic, yeah. Through that terminal.
Okay.
And that's where she snuck in and whatever. And then
because that's probably far easier than to sneak in through international.
Then she hid out and like overnight, and then hopped on a shuttle bus that goes to the international terminal. Stayed there overnight.
Why would there be a shuttle bus from domestic to international if you didn't go through international?
I was thinking it wasn't necessarily through between terminals, but it
just got her there.
I think it was just like she got on a shuttle bus because there are some airports that Mike and I have been through that it's like there's like a rental car garage. So everyone has to take this one bus if you need that. So I think she took that bus, waited for the buses to all start again the next morning, got on it, and went back to Terminal D because whatever. Or something. Like, I feel like it.
She went to somewhere that they would have in common.
Yes. So then she snuck in there, and then she waited overnight, and then she got on a plane, which I still haven't figured out how.
So when you're saying it took her 3 days, you don't mean like she tried for 3 days. You mean like
it was
planned out for it to take. Wow.
So then she somehow got on the plane, which I still haven't figured that out. And they only realized when they were doing the head count.
At landing?
Yes.
Where was she during takeoff that they didn't notice?
I have
the
no
flight
idea.
Not booked?
I think it was because there were empty seats in general that it was just, I don't know.
That is so great. All these flights that I've been on recently, I feel like they go through and they count and they write down which seats should be empty and which seats are empty. And
see, the one time that we had a problem with that because Mike and I weren't sitting next to each other, and I started having a panic attack, and the guy was being such a dickhead and wouldn't switch seats with Mike so he could sit with me. And Mike's like, what does it matter? It is the same exact seat. Like, it is a row back. Like, that is it.
Right.
And the guy was just being such a dick, and I just started hyperventilating and crying, and I said, well, I hope you're happy to deal with this the whole flight. And I'm, like, crying and trying to yell at him at the same time. And Mike's like, stop crying. Like, you're going to hyperventilate. And I was like, I'm going to throw up. And he was like, all right, whatever. Like, we'll switch seats. And I was like, you're being dramatic. He's like, well, I have to work the whole time. And I was like, well, I'm going to get up and throw up the whole time. So
it'd be better for you.
Oh, I was so mad. But that flight attendant was just like, well, we don't have any empty seats. And then there were like 100 empty seats. Oh I was like, get out of here. But he was just a dickhead. And he was mad because we happened to be in first class that trip. And I was just like, I have to work. And Mike's like, okay, go work over there.
Right.
We were all pissed off, and then I ate my little cheeseburger, like, what up? I was happy. Anywho, back to the story.
I need my service boyfriend. My service peacock.
Yes, thank you. So then, obviously, on landing, she was arrested because they're like, you didn't buy this ticket.
You can't even get through customs because you don't have a
So
passport.
that's where it was like, excuse me.
You made it 57 minutes in.
I know. I yawned 2 times. You didn't see me.
Oh.
So they said something about not having paperwork for customs anyways. And then I think that's what, they realized that she was there and she shouldn't have been. But then I think that's what actually led them to the arrest.
Right.
Because apparently England's really lenient on who they arrest based on your story.
Yeah.
So
I think it just, it has to be a criminal thing. Apparently, airports you can't break into, whereas the palace is free game.
Yeah. So they landed on a Monday, and she was there, and then they flew her back to Chicago on a Thursday.
Which is amusing, since apparently she really loves planes.
I know. And they were like, well, damn it, now we have to fly her back.
Right.
For free.
For free.
So then she was charged, obviously, like, everyone in Chicago is so done with her. She's been to like so many different judges, which I'll explain that in a second. So then she was charged with criminal trespass, which was a misdemeanor, and then theft, which was a felony.
Theft, yes.
Oh yeah, because the ticket was $2,400.
Right.
I would have been like, my ass would have charged you both ways. Like, yeah, everyone gets a round trip ticket. Like,
right.
Do not. So. Now, this is a little bit about all the judges and everything she's dealt with in the past 3 years. So this, just keep in mind that she flew to London on January 14th.
Okay.
Because I get that confused because then, whatever, she flew back, and then January 20th, she had a bond hearing with a judge that required her to get a psych eval because of every problem she's had with this, and to where
because she was willing to spend 3 days in an airport to get arrested in another country.
Which one person said it was like, it wasn't even like catch me if you can, it was just like, just come and catch me. Like, it was very sometimes just like she wanted to get caught.
Right.
So I was like, oh,
she's
that's
just
sad.
bored and lonely.
Yeah, that's why I was like, she had nothing else to do.
Right.
But so this judge makes her bond at like, or yeah, it's called bond, right? Yeah, at like $25,000. Like, it was crazy, and wanted to make it I don't know, not home arrest, but when they put the ankle monitor on.
Yeah, house arrest.
But yeah, but she was like allowed to go places. They just wanted to like track her.
Gotcha.
So I think she had like a radius.
I would say usually you do. Usually you have some kind of radius or certain locations that you can go to
she doesn't
during
have a
certain
home.
times.
So it was kind of like,
oh.
So I think where she was supposed to stay was at this like mental health facility that when she was arrested, that's where she was housed until the hearing.
Right.
So she was supposed to stay there anyways. But when she got back to, it says when she got back home, but she didn't have a home. So I was like, what? This is very confusing. Mm-hmm. That's why I was getting frustrated with this story. But whenever she got back to what technically would be her place of residence, it's in a different county. So what the judge said doesn't matter. So she had to go back to court to change the ankle monitor thing, because that's not going to work now. The next judge lowered the bond from $25,000 to $10,000, and the judge warned her like 3 different times to stay away from both airports.
Yeah.
And was like, I don't know why you haven't been sent to jail yet, but there are still people who want to help you, so you should let them, because she kept trying to escape the mental facility. But it was kind of like, they described it as like apartments thing. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like a hospital.
It was like assisted living.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So it was really like, it was just help.
Not only that, but where was she going to escape to? She didn't have a home. Like,
right. And she's not allowed to go to the airport.
Yeah. That's the only other place she wants to be.
Yeah. So one judge at one time told her, she was like, he said, there's just no feeling sorry for you. I think you're just addicted to attention, because she kept wanting to get caught. And then, so after that Thursday hearing, after the whole ankle monitor debate and, stay away from the airports, blah, blah, blah. So that was Thursday, and then Sunday she was again arrested at 1:30 a.m. for being at Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Did she say where she was trying to go?
I have no idea. I can't find anything after that. So that is where my research skills flopped. But I just think it's a funny line to end on. That Thursday she was told 3 separate times, don't go there.
Don't go there.
And Sunday in the middle of the night, she was there. She's crazy.
She was going to Mexico.
Like, they're in every single article, because I was telling you I had like 6 open trying to like get all of it. It was so difficult. But one of the guys that was interviewed, like a main TSA guy, said that they have HD surveillance of her in every account, and that they're what do you say, heavily studying it to discover how she like fooled the system, pretty much.
Well, right.
I'm like,
I never
I'd be
never
so
do anything
terrified.
wrong at an airport.
I'd be so terrified. Airports give me so much anxiety.
Right? I buy a ticket. I sit in my seat. I pack the right way. I, weigh my suitcase. I take everything out. Like,
that's a gamble for me. I'm just kind of like, let's just go there and see what they're going to say. I'm always like 49.8.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm totally careful about all of that stuff. And my bag gets searched almost every time I check it. I
don't know how do you know if your bag gets searched if you check it? Do you mean your carry-on?
No, I mean the bag that I check. Because
really?
if you open it up, it has if they've searched it, it has a note.
Oh, right.
Plus, like, when I went to visit Morgan one time, after Malcolm was born, and I also brought out like her birthday presents and stuff.
Yeah.
I knew that they'd searched the bag because of the note and the fact that they broke all her presents. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, it was
just like it didn't ruin the present, but it was like there were some games and they had crushed the boxes, and I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
Because they didn't repack it the way I had it packed, and
it got crushed.
Yep.
That's gross.
But how can you possibly get on all of these planes and I can't even get from point A to point B when I follow all the rules?
Legally.
Right?
I know. Airports make me so nervous. And I've gotten better because Mike travels, so I'm like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. But I just, I cannot imagine. I was reading this. I was like, how?
Yeah. I have a feeling the next time I travel will be it'll feel so easy compared to this last trip. Like after this last trip that I took where I had just had dental surgery and I was still a little bit numb, but I was also in a whole lot of pain, and I also was sick to my stomach, and I also like had to take pain medication, and it was just all of those things. Plus it was snowing. There was a blizzard. My team was canceling our meetings. Like it was just insanity. So next time has to be like just a piece of cake.
I think it will be.
I'm looking forward to that very much so.
I don't blame you. I was trying to send Mike with you.
Next time?
Yeah.
Or last time?
Wait, no, next time.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about that this morning.
Oh, okay.
When I go to Vegas, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that your next time? Like,
that is my next trip.
Okay.
It is my next trip. Oh, he can come. I'm not going to have any time to play. He'll have to hang out by himself. Oh, you do not
have to entertain Mike. He will find a hot tub.
Well, did you hear us talking this morning about I could just bring, because I wanted to take David. I was like, this would be a really great little vacation. It's going to be near the end of the week. And like my work will pay for my flights and they'll pay for the hotel for while I'm working. And then I could just, like, my only cost would be hotel and meals and stuff for like the extended time. I was like, but I can't take David because of the kids. Yeah. I was like, so how about David and Jordan and Mike? And then Jordan can watch the kids while we have fun.
In Vegas, I would strap their asses to like a stroller. And I'd be like, don't get up. We're going.
We're going to
I'm going to teach you how to I'm going to teach you how to play my favorite slot. It's called Monopoly Double Win. Let's go, guys. It's a non-smoking section. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have one more story to share with you. And I've given this one a title.
Okay.
Which I think will be both extremely accurate and very misleading.
Okay.
Okay. So I called it The Handsy Thief.
Okay.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm solving it right now.
And what's it about?
If I tell you now, should I tell you now or should I tell you if I got it right?
No, tell me now.
Okay, Handsy Thief.
If it helps, it took place in 2015, which was not yesterday, but like 3 years ago.
So my first thing, because you said it was both extremely accurate and incredibly misleading. Mm-hmm. So at first I was like, oh, accurate. What if he actually goes around and steals people's hands? Like, isn't that creepy?
Mm-hmm.
But then misleading, that is what threw me, because I was like, wait, it has nothing to do with hands then. Not at all. It has to do everything with being a thief, but nothing to do with actual hands.
Well, yeah, but what does it mean if you're handsy?
You're gropey.
Yeah.
Ew.
So are you ready?
No.
Okay. April 2015. I know you said no, but I'm going anyway. Also, I just was...
That's tax day. And Jenna's birthday. And the day Lincoln was shot. And the day the Titanic...
it was April of 2015.
Oh.
Not April 15th.
Okay.
See, this is the issue I had yesterday, but in reverse.
I just really like 15.
Yes. 15. No, I actually don't know what day it was. And actually, I'm not 100% sure it was April. Oh. But April is when it was reported.
Oh,
so I assume it was reported really close to the time it happened. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
So April of 2015.
Gotcha.
A diver has gone out diving. He has a camera. He's trying to capture videos of like some reef creatures like fish and coral and whatever you have on a reef, right? Mm-hmm. What was the shiver
I don't
for?
Know, I don't know. Diving freaks me out.
Okay. Well, he stumbles.
But it makes me think of my favorite joke. Sorry, continue.
Oh, no, now I need to hear the joke.
I think I've already told you.
What is it?
Why do divers fall backwards out of the boat?
Why?
Because if they fell forwards, they'd be in the boat.
Oh. David would love that joke.
That's a funny joke. One of my friends told me that, and I read it, and I was like, wait, what? And because she texted it to me.
Yeah.
And I read it again. I was like, and
I just wanted to kill her.
Up. No, I laughed for like 10 hours. Because I could just imagine like a guy sitting on the edge of the boat and just like, thunk.
Thunk.
Dad joke of the night.
Oh, that was amazingly painful. Okay.
Your dad would like that joke.
Yes, but not as much as my husband. So he stumbles on my favorite animal.
Really? A stingray?
No, that used to be my favorite
I just like
animal.
throwing that at you.
I know.
That was a really cool one, and an octopus scared me.
He stumbles on an octopus.
Ugh.
Stingrays are awesome. They are still my second favorite animal.
After Moana, how could you even?
I know.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Well, and that was a manta ray.
But it's kind of like a stingray.
I don't know if they're rays, but I don't know if they sting. Do they have barbs? I have no idea.
Well, then I would pick the manta ray.
They get so big.
Yes.
Like many people riding on its back big.
Yes.
The biggest stingray I have ever touched, I got to hold, and it had a wingspan of 6 feet.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible? That's bigger than me. I just
did a little like 2-finger touch tank, like, doop.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm good now.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, but it just turns out that well, okay, first of all, the plural of octopus, that's what I'm trying to say, could be octopuses or octopi or octopods. So you have choices. And they're also so smart, and they have more brains than we do, and they have the double-lobed brain, which couldn't have evolved alongside ours, and yet still evolved to look like ours and work like ours, and they can empathize and problem solve and use tools. They're so cool.
Maybe that's why they're creepy to me.
And they have like not actually brains, but like neurons in their tentacles, so like all of their arms can kind of think
but one
and
of
act
them
independently.
Is a penis.
only on males.
Now I'm starting to understand the handsy.
Well, okay, so let's get back to the thief part.
Before I make up the rest of the story.
The diver finds an octopus and he's taking a video of this octopus. He has this really nice underwater camera. It's taking like HD. It was like, I watched some of the footage and it was gorgeous.
Oh, dang, that's cool.
And all of a sudden, the octopus attacks him. And it starts grabbing his arm.
Do that? I mean, I guess they do if it happened, but...
The only bone on an octopus is his beak.
Yeah.
I like that you pointed to your nose.
I know that one.
So as long as I guess you can keep your fingers out of range of the beak, you're okay.
But is it?
But I think they're super, super
Yeah,
strong,
and
I know that they're.
You and like.
Well, I know that they're like suckers are really powerful.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people pay good money to do the cupping. That's pretty much the same thing.
It's the same thing. You get
underwater cupping
hickeys. So the octopus attacks him and he's trying to like peel it off of himself and he's panicking a little bit. So he starts to panic a little bit and he's trying to like pry. It was a decent size octopus. Like I don't know what the like arm span kind of would have been. Like I can't tell because they're so stretchy and shape changey and everything else, but the mantle, so like its bulby head part, was definitely bigger than his hands. So it was a decent, it wasn't like a little tiny octopus.
Yeah.
So he's like prying it off of himself and everything else. But the octopus grabs the camera and takes off.
Oh my god.
So apparently it like shot off like top speed. Well, so the guy chases it.
Okay.
And for 5 minutes, he frantically swims after this octopus to try to get his camera back.
Yeah.
Whole time, camera's still rolling. And
my
so
God, that
all
probably
you
looks
can
so
see, so it's like the octopus has it and he's like holding it way up under with like, I guess a couple of his arms.
Yeah.
Up under, like almost under his mantle. Like you can see where his mouth is.
Yeah.
And that's really all you can see.
Ew.
But he's stretching and moving enough that he's transparent enough that there's still light so you can still see.
Oh.
It's not like pitch black. So he swims and swims. The guy chases him for like 5 minutes. Finally catches up, like the octopus stops. And he's like, okay, I'm going to get the camera back because if I reach in there and try to grab the camera, A, it's near the beak. And B, he's just going to take off again. Like I can't, the octopus is going to have a little more. He's better shaped and equipped for this and stamina and all that. So he's like, you know what? I bet an octopus is like a toddler. So
oh my god.
He has a spear, like a spear gun with him, I guess in case like a shark or somebody attacks him. Because it sounded like he was there to get video footage and not to spearfish.
Yeah.
But either way, maybe that's just a thing you do.
Yeah.
And so he offers it to the octopus. So he like holds it out. Well, the octopus is like, oh, shiny new toy. And so it starts coiling all around the end of this spear gun and then eventually lets go of the camera enough the guy is able to reach in and like grab it and take it back. So the guy has the camera again. And
now you gave a weapon.
You gave the octopus a weapon. Well, he still has the other end. So then he's trying to like shake the octopus off. And the octopus is not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's just like squish, 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 squish.
So he just decided, you know, this is way better than what we were doing and I can still get video footage of this octopus like super up close. So he just took it for a swim. And so there's all this footage of like a little bit of the spear and then like there's the octopus totally wrapped all around. He's like bright pink, wrapped all around the end of it. And they're swimming through the reeds.
I need to see this video. This
is
so great.
So,
oh my God.
In the end, the octopus, I guess, got bored and left. He was like, okay, that was great.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I didn't get my camera,
funny.
but, you know, whatever. I got a ride. And to date, no charges have been filed.
Well, there shouldn't be.
Right.
Just like the opossum.
Yes.
Oh,
so
that's
that was
cute.
my picture that I couldn't show you.
That's cute. Oh, then yes, I would have guessed it then. That's cute. Oh, I like that we do like cute stories at the end because sometimes you just need them.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, our stories were not bad at all this time. I did tell you earlier that there was blood in my story, and I forgot to mention that the second time that he broke in, he picked up an ashtray and dropped it and cut his hand, and apparently was still carrying a piece of glass and like bleeding when he walked into the queen's bedroom, which it was probably something I shouldn't have left out because that's freaking scary.
Yeah.
So there was actually blood in my
Oh,
story,
okay.
but that was it.
There wasn't in mine. There's probably like a lot of free sodas and pretzels, but
Right? Yeah.
yeah.
There's no good food in an airport. There's really not. I mean, I guess maybe if you went to one of the restaurants.
I don't
but
know.
It didn't sound to me like she brought money for a restaurant.
No.
And there's no good food on an airplane, and it's not a comfortable place.
I have to tell you, both times I flew to Vegas, we were in first class that trip, and I got a pretzel burger.
Oh.
That was something else.
In a good way or a bad way?
Probably in a good way, because we always sit in the back of first class and they go around and they're like, "Hi, would you like the seafood medley with extra shrimp and tilapia? Or would you like the quinoa kale extravaganza with shrimp sauce?" And I'm like, I hate all those things.
Right.
And it's always seafood. It's always 2 seafood options, and the second one always has something nasty, like extra kale, like with crisp kale. I'm like, so then I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot eat seafood.
Right.
And I'm like, level with me here, lady. What else is there? She's like, I could go check in the back. And I'm flipping through the menu, and I'm like, the back is the burgers and like the good stuff. So I was like, if you have the cheeseburger, that'd be great. And
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, honey, let me go check. I'm like, yes, come back with a cheeseburger and fries and this and that. And I'm like, yes. So Mike never gets food, and he's just laughing at me because I'm like, it's free.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's a part of it. I'm eating it.
I don't eat on airplanes. There was one time when the flight attendant asked me to move my seat because I was sitting the very, very back row, like right back by their kitchen and all that. And they wanted the row to sit there. It wasn't a terribly full flight.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we'll move you up here and get you a window seat, blah, blah, blah. They didn't. I ended up sitting in an aisle seat, and the air conditioning was off, and it was horrible. So I think they felt really bad. They were like, you can have all the free drinks you want, and anything off the menu, just let us know what you want. And I'm like, what I want is to not be hot because I'm air sick and I can't eat or drink anything. So I never eat or drink anything on a plane.
It makes me feel better. Like, it distracts me, and I just snack the whole time, and
Yeah,
I
usually
make that
just
burger
try to
last
sleep.
the whole flight.
Yeah. I do usually pay for texting. I need texting. I get really lonely.
I never do that.
Well, yeah, but you fly with other people.
That's true.
I'm always sitting with strangers.
But you say that, but if you ever fly with Mike, he literally has his hat over his eyes, and he's asleep the whole time.
Boring.
And I'm like, talk to me. He's like, I can't. I'm like, okay, bye.
Does he get airsick?
No, I think he just doesn't like his ears, and like he just doesn't like
He's
that.
just not comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I have a shout out.
Yes.
I'm so
I
excited.
forgot about that.
We have a new Patreon patron, and
so
her
nice.
name is Emma Gillum, and we love her.
Yes.
And all we know about her is that she is our patron, and that she has, because Patreon randomly assigns little avatars.
Aww.
So hers is like a corgi.
Aw, how fitting.
And I don't know if it's like Google, where every time you log in, you might have a different one. But in this particular email where they let us know, like, it's a corgi.
That's cute. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. So
Aw.
thank you, Emma. You make us feel so wonderful and
Yes, thank
special. And
We will start working on all of your stuff.
all of your stuff. And one of these days, I'm even going to do the tell me what I'm trying to say that I need to do, that I need to edit. The blooper reel.
Yeah. I was like, what is it? What is it? Oh my gosh. I was starting to get nervous.
Yeah, no, I think that my brain has shut off for the night.
We had a technical difficulty with that, so we're fixing it.
Yeah.
So it's getting together.
The problem is it's a lot more challenging than, and so I'm just procrastinating terribly on getting it actually done. But it's a lot more challenging than just editing an episode, because at least with the episode, I might have to combine a couple of files, like to add the music and whatever else. But most of the editing is all in one file. So it's just a matter of sitting down and listening to us talk for hours and hours and picking out the bits that are the least horrible and making them into a podcast.
Exactly.
This one is going to be so much more fun, but it's going to be
a bunch of files.
A bunch of, like, little pieces of a bunch of files. And I just imagine it's going to be insane.
Me sounding like an idiot the whole time.
I'm not going to make you sound like an idiot the whole time.
That's what you say.
If you keep saying it, I will. That's what I'll do.
Will. It's okay.
Gagu refused to podcast with Tobin
did.
today. Flat out refused.
I did.
He wanted to podcast with her, and she made him cry.
Yeah. And he's lucky, because I was be like, I'm sorry, did we have a talk about no more fits? What the fuck do you call this? I was about to lose it, and I was like, no, be calm.
Be calm. Oh.
Yeah.
No, he was tired, but still. And he was really disappointed because he was really excited.
I know. That's why I was like, we can all podcast tomorrow. He was like, okay. After talking to him and you went in the kitchen, he's like, I'm not going to say this because it's going to be rude, but, and then he always said it.
And then he said it anyway.
And he was just like, I just don't want to talk to you anymore. I just want to watch my video and then go to bed.
Okay.
And I was just like, why am I feeling so rejected right now? And I was like, okay, watch your video. Like, no skin off my back. Like, I was just like, all right, whatever. So he watched his little video, and then he had a fit anyways. So I was like,
oh.
Okay.
He's like, I don't want to get in trouble for pouting and crying and throwing a fit, but I'm just going to watch his video instead.
Oh, shit. Anywho,
so that'll happen tomorrow.
yes.
So this next week, all your dreams are coming true. There is a new episode of Crime Crazy. There will be a new episode of Tobin Talks and a new episode of Shortlisted. So pretty much clear your schedules because you've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And
Bring headphones wherever you go.
Bring headphones anywhere you go. And if you bought the new Pixel 2, then I'm sorry to say you're going to have to go shopping because your headphones no longer freaking work.
I cannot believe that.
Oh my God, I'm so mad.
I'm glad I didn't buy one, not to be mean, but.
No, I'm so mad. At least they included the adapter, which I don't think Apple did. I think you had to buy it separately, but.
That would have been crazy.
Oh, I would have been even madder. But I will say I looked to see if they were selling like a pair of really great earbuds that go along with, and they are. And they have like Google Assistant built into them.
Oh.
And they also are like Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. A Babelfish is a fish that you stick in your ear and then it translates other languages.
Oh.
Well, they essentially translate for you. They have like Google Translate built in. And they're awesome, and they're $160.
Holy shit.
So I will be ordering some off-brand Bluetooth earbuds from Amazon because now I don't have any earbuds.
Yeah.
It will work with this stupid phone. Well, they will, but I cannot both plug it in and listen. And really the only time I use earbuds with my phone is on an airplane and my battery's dying. So Anyway.
That's funny.
So, we definitely should invite people to visit us on social media, places like Twitter and Instagram at Crime Crazy Pod.
Facebook, page and group.
Yes, come
Crime
play with
Crazy
us.
Podcast, of course.
Patreon, just Google
Yes.
Crime Crazy Podcast, or you can visit, there's links on our webpage, crimecrazypodcast.com, to all of these places. And, follow Emma's great example and go and sponsor us, because then we can just keep doing
Forging
this.
a path she is.
It's right. Plus, we're about to send her all kinds of cool stuff.
I know.
So, you could even follow Diana's example. Diana is also one of our Patreon patrons. And she sent me a message the other night that said, but why did Speedy say it was a Hispanic guy? And I read that message 15 times and I finally responded with just a question mark. She goes, oh, I'm listening to one of your episodes. I was like, okay, because I could not figure out what that sentence meant.
That's so funny.
So, but you could certainly send us cryptic messages about past episodes that we've probably already forgotten about in our research.
You told me about it, and I was like, at least it sounded somewhat familiar to you. I had no idea.
Well, I think it helped that because it was typed out and she had spelled and like capitalized correctly. I was like, no, I know this. Like, I wrote this down. Like, why do I know this name? But I couldn't figure out what it was.
That's funny.
So, certainly send us cryptic messages. Also, let us know if you do any kind of cool crime stuff. That is my request for this week. So, I was specifically thinking about like Hunt a Killer. If you know of other things like that are a lot of fun. Like we did the escape room, which was not actually crime related, but it was still like a mystery and it was very cool.
It was very fun to solve.
Yeah. So if you know of other really cool stuff like that,
that would be cool.
I need to know.
Because we need things to do, like our bucket list. Remember, we were like, we're going to go to the psychic. We're going to do an escape room. And we ran out of things.
We did, and then we hit our next goal, and we never did anything.
I know, and we've hit a goal after that.
I know. So we definitely need that. I also need some new shows to watch that are not on cable. They can be on Netflix, and they can be on Amazon. And that's it because that's all I have access to. So I need some new crime stuff to watch because I am rewatching Criminal Minds for like the 4th or 5th time and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But there's some I'm getting to the parts where really, really sad stuff is about to start happening. I'm just not sure I'm going to watch those episodes.
But anywho.
All right. Well,
Erin, I think you should say the last thing.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like I'm being honored somehow. But it is a really important message, which is no matter what you do, do not make the attempt or be successful to end up on next week's episode. Yep. Even though this week we had a bunch of kind of silly, relatively harmful. I mean, there was no murder.
No.
It doesn't matter.
It's still
Don't
wrong.
do it.
Nope. Or you'll end up in the trash can.
You will end up in the trash can on garbage day.